Metro Police say a woman is dead after a domestic dispute in the Northwest Valley. Detectives believe she went to the father of her child's home near Schomber and Durrell and was shot as she tried to leave. The man involved is now in custody. Police say the child, though, is safe.
On the evening of March 7th, 2022, an unexpected visit would turn into a fatal mistake. A 28-year-old woman arrived at her boyfriend's home at 10,600 Jamestown Square Avenue, Las Vegas, Nevada, to confront him about his lies. But what followed was a chilling encounter that would end her life. When the police arrived at the scene, what they found was the dying woman in the passenger seat of her car, while her boyfriend was nowhere to be seen. For hours, the police scrambled to unravel the mystery of what had truly happened until the chilling truth emerged. This is the tragic story of Keturah Denise Feazell.
Hey, it's her birthday, real birthday, real birthday.
Her story starts in Henderson, Nevada, a city known for its peaceful suburban thriving economy, being so close to the glitz and glamour of Las Vegas. As Nevada's second largest city, Henderson can be described by the high quality of life experience there. One of the best characteristics of this city is its relative safety. With a crime rate 37% lower than the national average, disturbances in this city are relatively uncommon. But even in the safest of places, tragedy can strike. It was here, in this seemingly secure city, where a brutal tragedy would fall on Keturah. Keturah Denise Feazell was born on April 25, 1995, in Nevada. While little is known about her early childhood and background, social media clearly showed that she was close to her siblings, cousins, and friends. Everyone close to her saw her grow into an ambitious and independent woman with a strong drive for success. But despite her ambitious nature, her compassion towards her loved ones cannot be contested. Keturah was the type of person who could uplift the people around her, always encouraging them to chase their dreams while she chased hers. Being an ambitious young woman in her 20s, Keturah had big dreams and the determination to turn them into reality. She had a passion for modeling and fashion, which many young women admired. But for Keturah, it was more than just a hobby. She realized that it was her calling. Keturah had striking looks, undeniable confidence, and a natural ability to captivate the camera. She then pursued a career in modeling with the hope of establishing a name for herself in the industry. Keturah, however, was not just a model. To her, modeling is just one side of her ambitions. She did not want to be just photographed. She also wanted to create her own line of clothing. Keturah had an innate talent for creating beautiful garments. And so, as her career flourished, she had her sights set on something more significant. This was when she launched her fashion brand called Keturah Echelon. With a keen eye for style and an understanding of what people loved, she began designing and selling her own things, turning her passion into a business. Keturah put everything into her fashion business. She carefully selected fabrics, created unique pieces, and ensured each item embodied her vision. And to top it all off, she modeled for her own brand. By wearing her own creations, she became the face of her business, showcasing her designs with the same confidence and poise that made her a standout model. Keturah's drive to ensure a successful future was undeniable, and it paid off as she started to gain traction and her business steadily grew. It was clear that she had great things ahead of her, but all of it would be stolen when she met a man who would change everything. In the summer of 2021, while Keturah's career was flourishing, she met Marvin Simmons, a 31-year-old man from Las Vegas. At first glance, Marvin seemed like the perfect addition to her life. With a flourishing career, a romantic love life would be anyone's dream. At first, Marvin seemed like a great guy. He was charming, attentive, and seemingly supportive of Keturah's ambitions. For someone as driven as Keturah, balancing both a growing fashion brand and a modeling career, Marvin represented something different. A chance at romance amid her busy world. Their relationship in the beginning was a picture-perfect depiction of a relationship. They went on trips together and shared intimate moments, and they seemed happy in the company of each other. Marvin showered Keturah with attention, support, and affection. With this, Keturah thought that she had finally found a partner who would be able to match her ambitions and was willing to stand by her side. But unbeknownst to Keturah, Marvin was not the kind of man she thought he was. He was hiding a terrible secret that would eventually cause a tragic ending. What Keturah didn't know was that Marvin had a longtime girlfriend on the other side of the city. While he was showering Keturah with attention and affection, he was also maintaining a serious relationship with another woman. And to make matters worse, Marvin had 2 kids with this girlfriend, and they all lived in the same home. Keturah had no idea that she had unknowingly become the other woman. She had become the side chick in a relationship she thought was authentic and exclusive. To her, Marvin was a devoted boyfriend who showed up for her, supported her dreams, and made her feel special. But the truth was that she had accidentally stepped into a love triangle that she had not signed up for. While this was happening, Marvin expertly concealed the truth. He made sure that Keturah and his other girlfriend never suspected a thing. He was determined to maintain a full-time relationship with 2 women at the same time. It remains unclear how he managed to make this possible, whether he meticulously crafted excuses, strategically timed his actions, and used a level of deception that only a seasoned liar could pull off. No one would know. But one thing is for sure, secrets like this never stay hidden for long. And when the truth finally surfaced, everything came crashing down. Despite Marvin's deception, Keturah's relationship with him continued over 8 months. They continued while Keturah remained oblivious to Marvin's double life. To her, their relationship was real, built on trust and shared dreams, and so their relationship went on for 8 months. But it wasn't long until everything started to unravel piece by piece. After months of being in a picture-perfect relationship, the cracks in their relationship became apparent. At first, subtle changes in Marvin's actions started to appear. There started the missed calls, canceled plans, vague explanations, and moments when Marvin seemed unusually distant. There were minor inconsistencies in his stories that began to catch Keturah's attention. She started to notice things that would eventually lead to a tragic realization that would change everything. As time passed, Marvin started disappearing for hours, becoming unavailable and avoiding making plans without giving clear reasons. Keturah tried to brush off her suspicions and convince herself that he was just busy or stressed, but as the days passed, the uneasy feeling in her gut only grew stronger. There were moments when Marvin seemed overly protective of his phone, quick to turn the screen away or silence calls when she was around. There were nights when he was unreachable, and when confronted, he would make up flimsy excuses that did not quite add up. Worst of all, he would not allow Keturah to visit him at home. Little by little, the perfect image of their relationship started to fall apart, and Keturah wondered if Marvin was hiding something from her. Yet again, she brushed it off because she trusted her man, a mistake often committed by people deeply in love. But it wasn't long until she made a discovery that would change everything. In just a snap, 8 months have already passed in their relationship. By late February, the tensions in their relationship had begun to surface, and the once effortless love and attraction they had both shared had started to feel strained. In an attempt to fix everything, Keturah and Marvin planned a trip together, which served as a chance to reconnect, to set aside any doubts, and to rekindle the love they once had. And so they went. It was unclear where they went, but things seemed to have gotten better for both of them, or at least for a little while. But what Keturah did not know was that this was the last trip that she would ever make. When she returned from her trip, she was met with a devastating revelation. The truth about Marvin had come haunting her. Keturah discovered that the man she loved, trusted, and invested 8 months of her life in had been living a double life. She finally found out about his long-term girlfriend, their 2 children, and the home he shared with them. Marvin's betrayal struck her hard. Everything finally made sense for Keturah. She could finally connect the dots, the missed calls, the canceled plans, the secrecy about his home, everything she ever brushed off, the questions left unanswered, and the vague explanations that left her confused all pointed to the painful truth. What made everything more painful for Keturah was the fact that she had been the other woman all along. Marvin was not cheating on her, he was cheating with her. This was when the weight of deception crashed down on her, leaving her to ponder on the realization that the relationship she thought was built on love and trust had been nothing but a well-crafted lie. The betrayal was not just about cheating, It was also about the manipulation, the stolen time, and the love she had willingly given to a man who never really belonged to her. Heartbroken and humiliated, Katora battled the weight of her emotions, but the pain has a way of demanding action. For Katora, betrayal was not something she could easily walk away from. She needed closure, answers, and, more than anything, to confront Marvin. On the evening of March 7, 2022 at around 9:58 p.m., Katora made a decision that would change everything. Fueled by heartbreak, anger, and the overwhelming need for answers, Katora decided to confront Marvin directly. But instead of waiting for Marvin's response, she decided to take matters into her own hands. She drove all the way from Henderson to Marvin's residence at 10,600 Jamestown Square Avenue, Las Vegas, Nevada, which was 37 miles away from her home. She did not go alone, however. Katora was accompanied by her sisters, who were there to ensure she would have the needed support in case things went sideways. But even with their presence, they could not have saved Katora from the coming tragedy. As soon as they arrived at the home, tension escalated rapidly. The timing Katora chose set Marvin's alarms off. That evening, his 2 kids and girlfriend were home, which immediately complicated things. The shock of Katora's unannounced visit sent Marvin into a panic. Right then and there, he knew that his double life would crumble. So in a desperate attempt to control the situation, before she could even get out of the car, Marvin sent a message to Katora. It was a cold warning that she should leave because his family was there. But Katora had come too far and endured too much to walk away simply, and so she did an action that would seal her fate. She approached the garage of Marvin's house while her sisters watched anxiously at the car. It wasn't long until Marvin opened the garage door and stepped out. This was when the heated argument between them was exchanged. Whatever was said during those final moments will remain a mystery. But one thing was clear. Those words pushed the night toward its tragic climax. The argument between the two became more intense. Emotions spiraled out of control. Desperate to maintain the life he had built on lies, took the confrontation to a dangerous level. In a spite of rage, Marvin shoved Katora with a force that sent her stumbling back, but she didn't retaliate. Katora knows she would not stand a chance in a physical altercation against Marvin. Instead, she turned away and went back to her car. For a moment there, it seemed as though the crisis had been avoided because the garage door had also begun to close. But in a snap, the door quickly opened again, and what Katora and her sister saw was Marvin, who was holding a gun. Then the unthinkable happened. In just moments, Marvin aimed at the car Katora and her sisters were in and shot 7 times before he stopped. Gunshots pierced the night air, each one a brutal punctuation to a love story that had turned into a nightmare. Among the bullets that flew towards Katora's way, one tore through her chest. In an instant, Katora was fighting for her life inside her car.
Police say a woman is dead after a domestic dispute in the Northwest Valley. Detectives believe she went to the father of her child's home near Chambord and Durrell and was shot as she tried to leave. The man involved is now in custody. Police say the child, though, is safe.
The woman who had once graced the world with her talent and passion now lay motionless on the passenger seat, betrayed not just by love, but by the very man she had trusted. The police and paramedics were immediately called to the crime scene. When they arrived, they found Katora, who was unresponsive, while her sisters, who were still in the car, were left in shock. Katora was brought to the University Medical Center, but despite the efforts of the medical staff to save the dying woman, it was all in vain. For Katora succumbed to her injuries and was pronounced dead shortly after arriving at the hospital. Katora Denise Faisal, a woman full of life, ambition, and love, had been taken too soon. Meanwhile, Marvin Simmons had already fled the scene. He tried to escape the consequences of his reckless act of brutality that claimed the life of a woman he once shared love with, but it wasn't long until he was found. The authorities were advised that he tried to hide in a nearby residence. To ensure that Marvin would not have a way out, the police formed a perimeter around the area. Just like that, Marvin was trapped with no way out. As he realized there was no escaping the police, he eventually stepped outside and surrendered himself to the police.
A man arrested for allegedly shooting and killing a woman in the Northwest Valley. Police say Marvin Simmons opened fire after an argument.
Without any further altercations or incidents, he was immediately taken in for questioning. But in the beginning, Marvin did not confess the truth of what happened that night. Instead, in one fatal desperate attempt to escape justice, he made up lies about what happened. At first, Marvin tried to justify his actions by telling the police that he was backed into a corner, claiming that Keturah had become aggressive. With that, he said that he feared for his family's safety, and that when he saw that Keturah had 2 people with her in the vehicle, he fired shots in defense. But to the police, this did not add up, and it wasn't long before the truth came out. As the police questioned him further, Marvin admitted that Keturah was unarmed. He also acknowledged that Keturah was too small compared to him to be considered a threat to him, but despite this, he fired 7 rounds of bullets toward the car she was in, which ultimately killed Keturah. With this extrajudicial confession, any claim of self-defense for Marvin was ruled out. It was clear to the police that Marvin Simmons had committed the crime out of anger and not fear. On March 9, 2022, Marvin appeared at the Las Vegas Justice Court, where he was charged with open murder and shooting into an occupied vehicle. With this, justice for Keturah's murder is underway. But even with this, the damage that Marvin had done was irreversible. A young woman was gone, her future stolen in a moment of senseless brutality, and for those who loved Keturah, justice could never replace the life that was taken. Meanwhile, on the other side of Nevada, Keturah's family was left grappling with her untimely death. The woman they had laughed with, celebrated with, and leaned on was gone. The woman who had so much ahead of her was taken too soon in an act of selfishness. In one final celebration of her life, friends and family came together, releasing white doves into the sky, a symbol of love, peace, and Keturah's spirit finally being set free. Though their hearts were heavy with grief, they found comfort in knowing that Keturah's light would never fade. Living on in the memories of those she left behind. Keturah's story reminds us that when built on lies, love can turn into a tragedy, leaving behind shattered dreams and grieving loved ones. Her story is not just about heartbreak, it's about the dangers of hidden truths and the irreversible cost of reckless brutality. Let us know what you think about her story in the comments below.